everyone, and welcome to the For Fun of Knit. My name is Linda and I am coming to you from South Surrey, British Columbia, just outside of Vancouver. And this will be my last episode from this place in the world, this geography. I am currently staying at my mom's, so I'll get into all of that. So for those of you who are new, welcome. And for those of you who are returning, thanks so much. I just always look so forward to spending this time with you, and I'm really glad I was able to sit down for a minute and just bring everybody up to date as to what's going on, and most importantly, give you an update on my knitting, which is why we're all here. So I have quite a few things to share. I think I have three finished objects. I have 2 works in progress. One was kind of a surprise to me, but hey, that's the way knitting kind of goes. And I have a few acquisitions that I want to share. So before I get into all of that, I'm also going to go over what I'm wearing, which is not mine. Yes, I borrow clothes from my mother because she's got great taste. And I am going to I've got some notes, I should say, because I've got a lot to cover and I just want to cover off as much as I can. Again, this is going to be my last podcast from Canada. And for the rest, you're going to be seeing me in Ireland and in Spain. So before I get into all of that, let me cover off some of the comments from the last episode, which is one that I did a short episode with my mom, who is my inspiration. So thank you so much for all the wonderful comments. My mom is inspirational. She's going to be 87 years old. So for those of you who have not met my mom and haven't seen her on the channel, she is super active. My mom golfs every week. She is in a choir. She plays snooker. She plays bridge. She does Tai Chi. Literally, I have to make appointments to see my mom, and that's the way it should be. But yeah, she has got a very full thing going on, and she has a new man in her life. His name is Ron, and he's absolutely lovely, and they are just kindred spirits and so lucky to have found each other at this stage. So they're like 2 peas in a pod, man, and they couldn't be happier. So thank you all for your well wishes. Yeah, it's going to be difficult leaving my mom for sure, but we have a plan. We have a plan. It's not like we are never seeing each other. That is not the case. So just trust us that we have a plan, because it was never my intention to leave my mother completely, and because not only is she my mom and I love her dearly, but she's also one of my best friends. She's a lot of fun to hang out with. So a couple of the comments I just wanted to come up with is Pamela, who knew there was 3 yarn stores in Ketchikan? I did not read this comment until well after my mom was back from her cruise to Alaska. But if you are going, anyone is going to Alaska and you're going to Ketchikan, there are 3 yarn stores. You need to check them out. My mom wanted to bring me back a souvenir, but I didn't even know about the yarn stores. So there you go. And for those of you who kept going, what? You're going to Ireland? What happened to Spain? Did we miss something? No, you didn't miss anything. You didn't miss anything. This has been in the plan or in the works for quite some time, but it was such a long process and so much administration and so many ups and downs. I just thought it was best to cut to the chase when it was actually happening. It's a lot more fun that way. You don't want to go through all the drudgery of all the preparation and the admin that you have to go through when you're making a big move like this. So a couple of you reached out to me, and let me tell you, you got to be careful what you offer, because I will take you up on it. So get it. Copenhagen is definitely on my list, and you are taking me on a yarn tour. Mary, you're in Ireland, and I cannot wait to meet you. This is very exciting. I don't even know what part of Ireland you're in. And Jess, as you know, we are friends already, but virtual knitting buddies are always welcome. So I will be podcasting from Ireland and from Spain. And I'll get more into that a little bit later in the podcast. So just wanted to cover that off, close out the last episode, and now we get on to the nitty goodness, which we all love, 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 and I'll save the rest of the other chatter to the end. So onto the knitting. What am I wearing? I am wearing, hey, does anybody recognize this pattern? Can you guess what this might be? This is a ranunculus by Midori Hirose. So this is, honestly, I'm trying to figure out what cotton this is. My mom chose this color. My mom knit this color. And I think I gave her this yarn, and you know what, I can't even tell you what it is. It's just a cotton. I think it's from, but she made it in the one size, casting on 60 stitches as you do, and then she just followed it to pattern. We did not do the increases or the short rows in the front. She definitely did them in the back, and it fits me perfectly. So I am thinking I might steal it. It might end up in my suitcase. Do you think she'll miss it? I don't know. I'm seriously going to ask her if I can take it, because it is such a lovely knit. I don't think she'll let me, but it's such a lovely knit. And I kind of like the color on me too. So who knows? But that's what I am wearing. I have so much fun knitting to share with you. I cannot believe I have accomplished what I have accomplished. But what I will say is the quality of my knitting might not be what I had anticipated because I may have been a bit distracted when I was knitting all of these projects. So let's start with this one. I know it is, what is the date today? June 28th. Okay, we're well into summer now, and Linda is still knitting with woolly wools. So you all know this one. I've talked about it before. This is the Missoni Accomplished by Melissa Clow, from formerly of Espace Tricot, but now of Sonder Yarns. And this is, I think it's going to be a most favorite knit. One of my most favorite knits. I have to say one of my most favorite sweaters that I've knit was the Halibut from Caitlin Hunter. One, because of just the cut of the style of it, that it was color work, which is kind of fun color work. It's got halibuts on it. And the yarn, which was done, and you can look at my previous episodes, it was done in Crafty Jack's boutique in their Delicious DK, which is BFL. Love, love, love it. And I did it in sort of a dusty navy. And then the halibut motif was done in gray. Love that sweater. This is going to be another fave. And what I'm finding, or what I've noticed, is they have a very similar cut or style. So this should be actually called the episode of Oversized Sweaters and Weirdly Perfectly Fitting Socks. Maybe that's, I'll get to that. But anyway, this is the Missoni Accomplished. You see, otherwise known as my Charlie Brown sweater. Yes, I'm now calling it my Charlie Brown sweater because of the zigzags. So what did I do? I'm just going to look at my notes because, you know, my gauge was way off. Oh, no, my gauge was perfect on this one. I lied. No, sorry. My gauge was perfect on my Missoni. I chose size 3. I was opting for a 49-inch bust. And I got 48. This is unblocked, so I'm sure that it will block to 49. I don't need it to be any bigger. It is an oversized sweater. What I did is I started with my contrast color, just 2 rows, and then I continued in the neck. So it is a top-down sweater. It is a yoke style sweater, so you're increasing the size of the sweater in the rounds. There's no raglan shaping. It is a yoke. And then you do some color work. You can see the chevron pattern, and then you split for the sleeves. You do another chevron pattern on both the sleeves and the body. And here's where it got interesting. I ran out of yarn, and I'll talk about the yarn in a minute, but I literally did not have enough yarn. When I got to this stripe, I realized I didn't have enough yarn to do the full body ribbing and then the whole length of the sleeves, plus more here, and the cuffs in black. So what I did is I switched it. I ended up changing it and doing an additional half motif in the gray and continuing on the ribbing in the gray on the body and the sleeves. And I love it. You know, it's not to pattern, but at least I got to use as much yarn as possible because I had more of the gray than I did the black. And it worked out perfectly. Now this is not blocked. I have no blocking tools or capability with me, so none of my finished objects are blocked. So FYI. So in the winter when I show them again, I'll show them to you blocked. Nor have I woven in the ends of this one. But this is what she looks like. I might try it on. I might show a little video of it on, but love, love, love this pattern. Oops, what is sticking through there? Oh, I poked my sweater. Love this pattern. I opted to just do no decreases on the sleeves. Went straight to the ribbing and I did twisted rib. I kept the needle size the same and did a twisted rib. So the needles that I used were a 3.75 for the ribbing and the neck, but then I went to a 4.5 for the body and the sleeves. Not true. For the body I did, and the ribbing I kept the 4.5 for the ribbing. But when I do the sleeves, I did the sleeves on 9-inch circulars. So I go up to a 5. I always go up 1 needle size when I'm doing 9-inch circulars, because I tend, the way I hold the needles in the yarn, it's a little more fiddly for me, so I tend to have a tighter gauge. I did the ribbing in a 4.5, but the sleeves themselves I did in a 5. So that is what I did. And what kind of yarn do I have left? Let's talk about the yarn. So the yarn itself, and I've talked to you about this before, is Fleece and Harmony's Celtic Cashmere, which is 85% wool, 15% cashmere. And this is the label. These are the labels. If you can see the labels, oyster and crow wings. And it is, it's a DK, but it actually is kind of more worsted. I think it's more of a worsted weight yarn, the way it knits up. And you got 250 yards for 80 grams. And crow wings, I bought these online without actually seeing them. So I do not know if you can see this, but you can see sort of a modelly color in the black. That's actually brown. Crow wings. Yep, I talked about that before. So this is actually a black with a brown stripe, and oyster is a cool gray with a blue hue to it. So I don't think you'd normally put those two together, but I did, and I love it, and it's just a gorgeous sweater. Cannot wait to block it, cannot wait to wear it. Even though it's just the beginning of summer. So that is finished object number 1. Finished object number 2, and I do not have my sock blockers, are the Cider House socks by Summer Lee. Oh, look at these. They look so pretty on the camera. They look so pretty. Oh, my hair's, oh, I've knit my hair into my socks. They look so pretty. Let me see if I can show you this beautiful cabling. Hang on. Can you see the cabling? The cabling's hard to see because of course I chose a variegated yarn, but I like that. I have to say I like it. Here's just a 2x2. Here's a 4x4 cabling all the way down. I love the cuff Summer Lee does. She always adds some fun and some color to her patterns. So I've got 2 of them, and these are the most weirdly shaped, excuse me, weirdly shaped, perfectly fitting socks. And here's why. So 2 pattern, cuff, love the Papa Pink, just a sock, cream sock yarn with a Papa Pink mini, and then I go into the ribbing. I do 9 repeats. It's a heel flap and gusset. Now this sock starts with a lot more, it's paid for pattern, so I won't go into too much details, but because of all the cabling and the ribbing, you cast on a lot more stitches than you normally would for a normal, just vanilla sock. So for the heel, I didn't need to add any stitches at all, but what I did do, a normal heel flap and gusset pattern, and I'm not giving anything away because this is pretty standard, is a 16 repeat, and then you start to do, then you do the heel flap, and then you do the gusset decreases. Well, I did 18 repeats. That gives me a little bit more room in the gusset portion. When I'm decreasing, I have to decrease a little bit more, so I end up having a little bit more room from the heel to the arch of my foot, or I get the instep of my foot. So you can see that the leg looks really skinny, then you get this really fat bulbous part when I get to the gusset decreases, and then when I get to my foot, look at how little tiny this gets. And that's because when I finished my decreases, I tried the sock on and it was still gaping. So I decreased even more. So I decreased so that I would end up only having 30 stitches overall. That was the most comfortable fit. Normally, 60 stitches. Did I say 60? I hope I said 60. 60 stitches. Normally I have 64, but I decreased right to 60. So 30 on the front needle, 30 on the back. I continued in pattern, and then I did a regular standard decreased toe. Absolutely perfect, but these are the weirdest looking socks ever. Skinny little toe, really fat gusset and heel, and then this long skinny leg. So 9 repeats here, 6 repeats to the gusset decreases, and then 4 repeats to the toe, and then I just did a standard wedge toe. Don't even know what that's called. So that is my Cider House Socks by Summer Lee. And notice the color difference between the two socks. Always happens to me with indie dyed yarn. One part of the skein has absorbed more of the dye than the other. Doesn't bother me, I'm used to it. I kind of love it. And yeah, great socks. The main sock yarn was, what was it called? Black Cat Custom Yarns. It was one of their seconds in their everyday sock. And don't be afraid to get seconds or one-of-a-kind skeins when dyers are trying new colors. You get it for a better price, and I haven't been disappointed yet. I made these socks and I made my Nord socks out of seconds or one-of-a-kind, but they were seconds. So it was one of those things where the dyer tried something and it obviously didn't go as they planned. One, probably because the dye didn't take all the way away, but also this yarn, you cannot see it on the camera, but it has flecks of blue, flecks of gold, it has all different colors in it. It's hard to see on the camera, but you can see it in real life. So that is finished object number 2. Finished object number 3. Okay. So, as I mentioned in my last podcast, my knitting besties are going to flock. I am not. This is a Fibre Festival in Seattle. I'll miss it this year. But we have traditionally knit a sweater and a shawl. And what we decided this year to do is make our shawl have a component of our main yarn of our sweater that we were going to knit. So the yarn that was going to be my sweater, which I'll talk about in a moment, was this beautiful pink. I dyed it myself. It's really bubblegum pink. It's tonal. I don't know what I'm doing when I'm dyeing, so that's what it turned out to be. And so it's a bubblegum pink. And I guess I should tell you what the shawl was first. It's the Veera Valamaki Stay Soft Shawl. I have such a problem saying that. Stay Soft Shawl. Requires you to have 3 colors. Yes, 3 colors. So 2 are going to blend together, you know, for striping, and 1 is going to be like a pop, like a Stephen West kind of pop. And so my main colors were the main shawl colors. Oh, what did I do with my other one? I'm missing a skein. Come back here. I'm missing, not a skein, but I'm missing a piece. Here we go. So we're going to be this pink. And this hedgehog, this is an MCN, and this is just a hedgehog fiber skinny singles, and you can see it, it's got little pops of confetti color in neon colors. And that was going to be the main body of the shawl. And then the pop was going to be this sunset orange and pink. It's cream, orange, pinks, and deeper orange, I guess. And so the actual outcome of my shawl, I love it. Actually, I started at this end because technically this should have been a third of the shawl, then the striping should have been a third of the shawl, and then the white should have been, your second color should have been a third of the shawl. I couldn't do that because I only, excuse me, had 3 skeins of this, and I still needed to make my sweater. So I just did like, I'm gonna say not even a quarter, so what, a fifth of my shawl in the pink, and then I did half of the shawl striped, and then the other half of the shawl was done all in this cream. And then look at the pop of color. Oh, it's just gorgeous. To me, it's gorgeous. I hope you can see this, but I just love it. I think it is very festive. I think it's very summery. It's very sherbety. And this shawl, it's unblocked, but it is a nice size. I did two modifications to it. When I start a shawl, I always find that the cast on edge, as I'm doing my increases, tends to be very tight. So when I'm doing my increases, when I get to the edge stitches, and whether it's an I-cord edge stitch or not, I always do a yarn over after the first or second stitch of the edge, I do a yarn over on the knit side only. So this is a garter pattern, a garter stitch pattern. So you knit both sides. So at the beginning of each row, I'm doing a yarn over, and then when you get back to it, you drop the yarn over when you start knitting back the other way. Hope that makes sense. It just adds a little bit more stretch on the edge, and still I could have done more. I could have done this edge a little bit looser. That would be one thing. The second thing is I cast on, so my edge is a little wonky looking, because I cast on, here's my cast on edge, and I cast on 3 extra stitches on each side. The reason I did that is because I wanted to start an I-cord on both sides immediately. So ignore the orange part. This is kind of where you start. And I cast on 3 extra stitches on both sides so that I could do an I-cord immediately. Now what that in effect does is your I-cord doesn't actually go all the way to the end, because here's your cast on. And then I've got I-cord on this side and I-cord on this side, but I should show you the right side around. I-cord on this side and I-cord on this side, but these stitches don't have an I-cord. But when you block it like this. So you get a little bit of a bump. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. I really love the way this worked out. So I have an I-cord edge along this one, and I have an I-cord edge all along here. Hope you can see that. That's an I-cord edge right there. Now, in hindsight, I didn't need to do this. I could have followed the pattern and done this edging normally, but I didn't really understand the orientation when I was knitting it. So I didn't really understand which side I would be picking up stitches to add the pop of color, this section. I didn't need to do an I-cord here. It might have looked actually a little tidier if I didn't, because you've got this nice sort of eyelet looking thing happening on the cast on edge of when you pick up the stitches for your pop of color. Oh well, my kind of detail. It's just a, what do you call it, a designer's or a what do they call it? Artistic preference. There you go. But this is the shawl in its entirety. It is not blocked, and it is already, totally my wingspan and then some. So now, as I was knitting this, so that is my last finished object. That's finished object number 3. We are now going to go into works in progress. So works in progress. I was supposed to start the sweater for Flock, which was called the Circe sweater, and it's beautiful. I'll show you a picture. I should actually sit a certain way so I can show pictures one way or the other. I was going to knit the Circe because that's what my friends did, and it's a lovely sweater, and I am going to knit it, but I can't knit it in this yarn. Why? Because I'm not a very good dyer, number one. This was just my practice. Don't know if you can see the difference. Where's the other skein? Here's the remnants of the first skein. In order to get an even sort of color, it is a sweater. It's got the lace on the sides, and then it's just stockinette front and back. I wanted to helical knit because my dyeing, this is a very tonal yarn. It's not the same, and not only that, skein to skein it will be different. So I wanted to do helical knitting. I could not figure out how to do helical knitting when you have lace, a lace pattern. If it was just a couple of, stitches of lace and then a lot of stockinette, I could manage it. But it's the entire side of the shoulder, the whole sleeve inset, that is lace. And so I couldn't figure out how to do that helical knitting. So I had to scrap that idea in favor of something else. So let's talk about what that something else is. So am I gonna knit the Circe? Yes, I am, but I don't have the yarn with me in order to do that. So on to plan B. What do I do with this beautiful, and this, unless I find a t-shirt pattern that, like this, I could not do helical knitting either because it's got too much lace. So unless I can find a t-shirt, I could probably knit the ranunculus without actually doing any of the lace. That's an option. I could do that actually. I hadn't thought of that. But needless to say, in the meantime, I don't have any other yarn with me, so I needed to be doing something. So I wanted to crochet. And so I decided I was going to crochet a blanket, but I didn't want to do a traditional granny square. So I do not know what this pattern is called. Looked it up on YouTube, but this is what I ended up doing. This is the crochet square that I thought, ooh, this is really pretty. I'll do this using my pink as, if I'm going to do blanket, the pink is going to be the color that is the constant in the squares. I'm going to finish up this because I love those two colors together. And I did bring with me one skein of sock yarn, thinking I would knit socks, but look at how well they go together. This has orange and peach in it along with the red. So those really appealed to me to go together, and they made this granny square. And then I alternated it with the orange. So this square starts with the orange, this square starts with the more raspberry. I don't know if it's raspberry, but the more pinky yarn. And the constant is this second round is always going to be pink, no matter what colors I choose. And I thought this would be a great idea for a blanket. And then I was going to probably trim it all in cream and join everything in cream. But why I really liked it is because I have all the sunset colors in skeins in my stash that I could use these skeins, however many, as a pop. And then I could do solids of the sunset colors. I could do solids of the pinks. I could choose other similar colors or complementary colors and continue to use the pink in the second round. And I had enough of it, I could do a full blanket. So this is where knitting besties come in. So I bring my crochet to knitting because honestly, I can't do too much other than crochet a very simple thing or do stockinette when I go to knitting. And I showed them my squares, and June's like, Linda, that is way too pretty for a blanket. That is way too pretty. You should do a Jethro. That's what you should do. And I'm like, oh, I hadn't thought of that. Darlene's crocheting a Jethro. She just blocked all her squares and I really liked hers. Purples and grays and kind of moody. It's lovely. And I thought, okay, well, yeah, I could do a crocheted sweater like a Jethro, but I'm gonna have to do a Jethro Hack. Why? Because my square pattern is not the Jethro square pattern. 2, I haven't even bought the pattern yet. I will buy it. I have not yet bought it. I do not know how big the squares need to be. Don't know how many I need. But Darlene said that she used 30 or 31 because she wanted to make it a bit longer. So I am going to, I thought, you know what, that's a good idea. A crocheted sweater I would get a lot of use out of. I'm already working on my Christmas blanket. It's in storage. But I already want to steamroll on that blanket. So maybe I will make the Jethro cardigan. So that's what these are going to be. Beautiful. I love them. I love them, love them. Show you the right sides if I can. I absolutely love them. I think they're so pretty. And my wallet, so I was pulling out my wallet to pay for something, and June again, she's like, Linda, that's the color that should be your contrast color. It's a deep, dark aubergine purple, like really dark purple leather. And she's like, that's what you should do. It would be so beautiful with taking out this really dark purple and making that the background rather than cream. And I don't disagree. I think that dark aubergine color will give it a more elevated cardigan look versus cream giving it sort of a country or casual look. So with these colors, cream, if you did creams and taupes or creams and grays, it's more elevated. But when you have sunset colors, I think there's a tendency for it, and again, I have crocheted my hair into my work. There's a tendency for it to look a little casual if you do the cream. So, and gray didn't seem to make sense, but yeah, a deep dark purple, I think would be lovely. So that is whip number 1. Long-winded way of saying that's how I got to my whip. So I'm thoroughly enjoying that. And we will see how far I get because I don't have much of this left. I have quite a bit of this left. So I will eventually have to find a skein to substitute the orange, but keep going with this. So the pink in this will be consistent. And then as that runs out, find another one. So the pink will be the one constant in all of these skeins. I mean, in all of the squares. So I think I have 7 done, 23, 24 more to go. So we'll see how that works. Work in progress number 2, and I just want to update you with this because this is the sweater that I'm doing with my mom. You've seen it before. It's the Day Trip. And this is by Suviknits. And look at this. It's it's just got a lace detail in the front, raglan sleeves, top down in a worsted weight yarn. And I am using Cascade Highland Duo, which is discontinued. It is 70% alpaca, 30% merino. It's got quite a halo. I think you can see the halo on there, which I love, but I think it's gonna pill. I think it's gonna pill like crazy, actually. And the reason I think that is because it is so lightly spun. Like this is a very floofy yarn that is so lightly spun that I think this is going to fuzz and pill. But I think once I wear it a couple of times, depill it, I think that will stop. I'm hoping if anyone has knit with Cascade Highland Duo, I would love to know what your thoughts are on how this yarn wears. Now, about this sweater. I keep everything, all my sweaters in my journal. And so this is my Suviknits. This is my Day Trip. I'm using a worsted weight yarn. The pattern actually calls for DK, but this yarn knits quite flat, but it's still worsted weight. You're supposed to use 3.5 millimeter needles and 4 millimeter needles. I used 3.5 millimeters for the neck and then 5 millimeter for the body because it's a worsted weight yarn. I like that fabric better, but then I went down a size. So I went down a size because the size, so I went to size 4, which was a 43-inch bust. Now the gauge was supposed to be 22 stitches per 4 inches to 28 rows. My gauge, of course, I'm using a bigger needle with thicker yarn, is 19 stitches across. So less stitches means bigger garment, and 26 rows down. So less rows means longer garment. I'm pretty sure I got that right. So you would think I would do a swatch. You'd think I'd do a swatch. Yeah, that's just not me. I don't do swatches. So my beautiful garment, which is supposed to be, I chose the 43-inch size, thinking it would gain 3 inches with the bigger needle and the worsted weight. I thought I was going for 46, 46-ish. I'm at 50. My bust circumference on this puppy is 50, and it's not even blocked yet. This is another gargantuan oversized sweater. So, not only is it lots bigger, and I should have measured, so I could have made some adjustments along the way, but I didn't, because these are, it's been really busy and hectic with all these decisions that my knitting is just my knitting, and so just go around in a circle and keep going and don't ask any questions. Well, I'm paying for it now, I think. But anyway, so I am actually 4 inches wider than I thought I would be, and I'm 3 inches longer than I needed to be. I should have stopped. I was supposed to do 4 repeats, which I did. I should have stopped at, basically I could have stopped at 3 and just made a longer rib. I did the full 4. I'm 3 inches too long. Then I started the ribbing. So this is going to be one big sweater. The challenge for me is I only have 1 skein per sleeve left. So I am hoping that I don't run out of yarn. But I might, and I don't know. I might. So maybe I can get a 3/4 sleeve, 3/4, it's 1 skein. It's all I've got left is 1 skein per sleeve. So I might just put the bottom on holders. I might just put the bottom, that's what I think I was gonna cast off, but I think what I'm gonna do is put it on a tube, hold it, do the sleeves, knit both as far as I can, and if they're too short, I will rip back and take it back down and recoup some of that 3 inches worth of yarn. I don't know. I might not have to, but I think I'm gonna have to. So that is Linda and her no swatching. I know I should have swatched, but nah, swatching lies. That's all I can tell you, swatching lies. But I think it's going to be lovely for the winter. So yeah, this is Linda working on winter knits in the middle of summer. Every other podcaster is, this t-shirt, that t-shirt, this t-shirt, that t-shirt. I'm like, nope, I got to finish what I've got. I can only pack so much yarn, and those projects were there. So that is all. Is that all my knitting? I think that is all my knitting. Hang on 2 seconds while I reboot my lovely little, I just don't want to forget anything, so I'm checking my notes. Oh my God, who am I? Let's take a look. Yeah, that is all the knitting, but I do want to show you a few things that I acquired from the XOXO Fibre Festival. I have all of my acquisitions from the XOXO Fibre Festival in my Woolen Frog bag, which I love so much. Look at this one from Kara from the Woolen Frog. So the XOXO Fibre Festival it's not a fibre festival. It's a yarn shop. It's a yarn day. It's a yarn show. It's only one day. It's one Saturday in June. It's in North Vancouver, so it's quite a trek, but this is what's so lovely about having some knitting besties. We did a field trip. A few of us did a field trip. And so we went, and it was lovely. Really, it was not that expensive to get in. I think it was $20, and that gave you not only your entry ticket, but it also gave you coupons for the vendors where you get 10 to 20% off of the merchandise being sold or merchandise that they were selling online after the fact. So it was really nice. And there were some really lovely vendors there. There was All Points North. I can't even remember them all. I'll show some footage at the end of this video of the actual show. So It's only their second year. If you haven't had a chance to go, you definitely want to check it out if you're in the Lower Mainland, because it's at the bottom of Lonsdale in the old shipyards, which has been a redeveloped sort of shipbuilding site with all of the kitschy restaurants and stuff. So it's really, really cool. So what did I buy? I bought a few things. Now keep in mind, I've already packed my suitcase, so not a lot of room for yarn. So in my brilliant estimation, I thought, okay, there's not a lot of room for yarn, but surely there's always room for fiber. So I am missing Tour de Fleece this year. It's going to start on Tuesday, and you know, run for 2 weeks, and I will miss it completely. I didn't fulfill my obligation last year, but I enjoyed it so much, and I miss my spinning wheel. So this is my toast to Tour de Fleece. I bought fleece. And so all of this fleece was from Two Crows Fibre. There you go, Two Crows Fibre. And I got these beautiful, I don't know, this is bamboo alpaca. This one is merino alpaca and silk. This is a dusty grayish, just slight hint of pink and purple. This is a candy floss color. This one is a deeper candy floss color, and this is alpaca, a merino alpaca and silk. Each one is a different fiber content. And then the last one I got, which is this one, is more moody and fallish because I had to do something different, is the colorway is Northern Lights, and it's Cordell comb top, which is so easy to spin. These are going to be a little bit more challenging to spin for me because I'm not that good. And the last one that I got, which is which one is this one? This is Merino Silk and Stellina. It's called Kitsilano Beach Party, which is a beach in the west end of Vancouver. Kits Beach Party. Look at the colors. It's got the pink. Okay, it's got the pinks. Okay, there's a thing. I obviously have a theme happening, because if you think about the pink and the yellow and whatever the oranges going on, I really have that summer sherbet kind of sunset vibe going on. So these are all the fibers, and somebody had a really good idea, and I think Jackie sent it to us on Instagram. It was an Instagram post where somebody said, take the stuffing out of your travel neck pillow and fill it with your yarn. Guess where my fiber's going? In my neck pillow. So there you go. That I got. I did get one skein of yarn, which is from All Points North. I love this. Again, look at the color. I have, obviously, this is my thing. This is my jam. And it's called Downtown. And this is just her Posh Sock, 85% merino, 15% nylon. Now you might say, Linda, you've got something to knit. You can knit with this sock yarn. I don't knit with, let's put it this way, I haven't knit with any of the yarns, the one skeins that I get that are sort of a commemorative piece for me. Whenever I go to a yarn show, I buy one skein that I just keep in my special stash as a memento of that event. And then I thought, you know what, I should probably really do a blanket. And I got motivated by Nitty Natty, who did her across US tour, 50 states blanket. And now she's doing a 10 provinces across Canada blanket. And I thought, you know what, I should do a blanket with all my commemorative yarns and actually put them to some use. So that one is being held for that occasion. So that's what I got there. Now, I have another acquisition because my wonderful knitting besties did take me for lunch last week, where we could all have a good chin wag, and we didn't knit at all because all we did was talk and eat. We went to the English Tart in Mission. If you ever get to Mission, BC, you must go to the English Tart and have their English tea, where you get the 3-tiered stand of goodies, which has little finger sandwiches on the bottom and lots of goodies and squares and cream filled things. And oh my gosh, it was so good. And Noreen and I shared this amazing chai tea. I can't remember what it was called, but it was amazing. So we did that. And then we went to Trendy or Whatnot, which is the store right beside the English Tart. And what did I buy? More fiber. So can you see a theme happening here between all my beautiful different takes on the blushy pinks? Yes. So I think I'm going to try with all these different blends. What is this one? This one is merino silk and cotton. Merino silk and cotton neps. Absolutely gorgeous. I bought that. I didn't buy any yarn from them. I don't think I did. No, I did not. But I did buy the Mission tartan. I bought a meter of the Mission tartan. So Mission has a tartan that's actually registered in Scotland. It's made in Scotland. It's an official tartan for Mission BC. And I am going to make something, either a backpack or a, what do you call it? A grandma bag? No, what is it called? Not a medicine bag, but something like that. And I have thrifted, from the inspiration of my girlfriend Jackie, I have thrifted a lot of men's herringbone jackets and different shirts. So I have all this fun fabric that I can play with to make either a backpack or some sort of tote. Haven't decided, but I thought that would be a very nice commemorative piece. And I bought wool wash because I thought I'd get around to blocking my knits, but that's not happening. So that is what I bought. Okay, and I think that is it. I think that is it for anything knitty. So if that is what you've been here for and you want to head out, thank you so much. I hope that you enjoyed the content. If you did, give it a thumbs up, please. My channel, I don't monetize my channel. It is just for the fun of knit, and that is where I'm sticking to. I love it. But I love your comments. I love it if you give it a thumbs up, so other people might fall upon the channel and maybe they will enjoy it as well. Now I'm going to go into the chatter. So if you're heading out, thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you next time. And if you're sticking around, let me just give you the very, very brief update of where we're at. So it is, if you caught the last podcast, you know Patrick and I are moving to Ireland. So this is huge. This is huge. It's been in the works for a while. All my friends know about it, but it is huge. So we leave a week Monday. It's the 28th. So we fly out on the 7th. I cannot believe we're only a week away. Wow. And we're still married. I have to say that. It ain't been easy, let me tell you. It's been challenging, but it's fun now. So the last couple weeks have been sort of, you know, the weeks of the last time I'm doing something. This week in particular is the last of this and the last of that. So last week I had a few of my last lunches with my very, very dear friends, and oh my God, lots of tears, Now, I say last, it's not. I'm not moving away forever to the point where I'm never going to see anybody again. That's not the case. I'm coming back a lot because of Mom, and some of my friends are, you know, adventurous enough, so they're going to come visit, which is good. Thank goodness. So it's not like I'm disappearing or not going to be seeing my friends, because I will be. But I had the field trip I told you around with my knitting besties. Last knitting session is happening next week. So, and we're also sentimental. It's like, okay, we're gonna have 2 last knitting sessions. So we're knitting on Monday and we're knitting on Thursday. Love you all. That's wonderful. Last walk with one of my best buddies. We walk every Monday. It's the only day she really has off, and we walk every Monday morning and just catch up on life and everything, and really gonna miss that routine. And that's probably the right perspective. These aren't lasts. These are the last of this routine, these routines that I had on a weekly basis. I will still have all this stuff, but maybe 3 times a year with all my friends, and I will have different routines when I go to Ireland. One thing that is going to remain constant is podcasting. Yes, I know I have not been as consistent just because of what's going on, and I won't probably be consistent throughout the summer. I am going to podcast when I get to Ireland, and I will be podcasting in the summer, but it probably won't be until the fall until I get back into an actual regular schedule. One of the reasons being is our belongings haven't even left Canada yet. So literally our belongings are 4 weeks or more delayed on its route. Rail delays, port delays, labor delays, all sorts of fun reasons why our belongings can't get to Ireland on time. So Patrick and I are going to be glamping in our house with no stuff. But that's okay. We figured that out. First world problems, not a big deal. But it will take, that's one of the reasons it's going to be a little sporadic in terms of podcasting. I won't have my yarn. Oh my God. What am I thinking? Oh my goodness. Never mind the cooking pots and all that kind of stuff, or clothing. No, I won't have my yarn. That's the big thing. So we're just doing this last week is last admin pieces, like forms to CRA for non-residency, forms to the banks, canceling the credit cards, canceling the streaming services. Probably the hardest thing I'm going to do this week is we're going to say goodbye to our boys. So my two pups, Mackenzie and Duke, I've had their ashes with me forever and can't take those with me. So Patrick and I are going to their favorite spots, and they're going to be released together, and they are going to fertilize some beautiful, beautiful wildflowers. But I'll cry. So don't even, okay, I got to change the subject because that's going to be the most difficult part I go through this week. Until the end of the week when I truly do say goodbye to my mom. Now, if I could just, collapse her and fold her into a carry-on with a little oxygen mask, I would take my mom with me. But it's true. Mom can come to Ireland as part of our family. She can actually come to Ireland and stay with us. So that forever if she wanted to. But she has a full life here, and I'm so grateful for that. I think it's harder for me than it is for my mom, honestly. I think it is. And most importantly, probably the thing that is weighing most right now for me is, what am I supposed to knit on the plane when I have no yarn? Seriously. I'm joking, but I am. I'm at a complete loss. What am I gonna knit? I could crochet more squares. I might do that. But I think I might have to go to a yarn shop and buy at least one skein so I could knit a pair of socks without worrying, and just on 9-inch circulars, and just do some vanilla socks for the trip. I haven't decided yet. But that's everything. That is everything I wanted to share. I hope you enjoyed the time that you spent with me. I certainly am thankful that you tune in and you do watch, and I hope I keep you company while you're knitting. Please leave your comments. I know I haven't responded to the last video comments. It's just been crazy, but I will absolutely get to it at one point, and I do read them all. So I do thank you for taking the time to make those comments. And I look so forward to the next time that I can podcast and share all the goings on with you. And I love hearing about what's going on with you as well. So on that note, I will say Auf Wiedersehen. So long. Until next time, and have a wonderful couple of weeks, maybe a month, and I will check in with you as soon as I can. Thanks so much, everyone. Take care.
such a long time.